Welcome to Adulting with Joyce Pring. Watch the full video of this episode on my channel, www.youtube.com/JoycePringTV. And if you want to level up your adulting game, check out joycepring.com/collections for my digital products and courses. How would you describe the youth of today? Ano ba yung identities nila? Ano yung aspirations nila? And what sets them apart from the generations before them? Or tayo mga millennials or even the older generations pa?
Yeah, I think I really want to jump off of that they are basically digital natives. So it means that they grew up in a generation where technology was readily available for them. Unlike maybe us millennials that we still had a normal telephone that you could ring up and still been able to live lives playing outside.
May dial-up internet
May
tayo
nun. But now, you don't see people as much as you want playing outside as much as we did. They grew up in a generation that was really in face of a screen, but at the same time, they're very entrepreneurial. They know how to be able to make things work.
Yeah.
They are very intelligent. They know how to ask good questions, and they're very smart to be able to work than our age. Like, we didn't care about anything. But for them, as young as a teenager, they're already involved with so much information, making them ask many, many questions.
I think it was Chase Dawes who said na Gen Z occupy world that we don't have. They're really, as what Kuya JC said, that they're very intelligent. And sabi nga, tawag sa kanila iGen, di ba? And at the same time, I see that their sense of self comes from their success sa career or sa education. Iba sila sa ibang generation because other generations, medyo sa family pa natin kinukuha yung sense of natin, self natin. But sila sa career and sa education. That's why the people I encounter, the youth in the campus, sobrang sobrang game silang sali sa orgs where they will, utilize their skills and at the same time build connections for the future. So,
But interesting, Pastor and Kuya JC, no? It's weird because I recently went to a university event and it was a Christian event. Tas ang topic namin is how to foster deep and genuine friendships. So it's interesting contrast na yung generation ngayon, sobrang intelligent nila. They ask good questions. But one of the things that they really struggle with is fostering deep relationships. So parang ganyan. They're very good at getting into organizations. They know how to succeed in organizations. But they told me, and these young children today,
Shows the age gap.
Shows the age gap. But when I see 18-year-olds, kasi I'm 31, I'm like, you're a child to me. Like, you're very young. You have a lot of things that you'll still be experiencing. When I talk to them, sabi nila, it's easy for us to build connections when we have a common goal of succeeding. But it's hard for us to foster deep, intimate relationships where we really get to know each other's hearts and minds. Why do you think that's happening right now to our youth today? And ano ba yung stance nila ngayon sa faith and spirituality? Because let's be honest, it's really rooted a lot in faith and spirituality, diba? Kasi ngayon, yun nga ang basis for your value, and I'm not demonizing social media, there's a lot of good that can come from social media and the internet. Ang basis ng value natin ngayon, a lot of it comes from social media. Our basis for morality and truth, a lot of it comes from social media. And you see a lot of our young people now kind of grappling with that push and pull, diba?
Yeah. I think this generation kasi values social justice. They value yung safe place, yung safety nila. So I think those are the things that contribute to their lack of in-depth relationship. Why? Because medyo takot silang pumasok sa mas malalim na relationship because that might lead to, when you enter a deep relationship, medyo vulnerable ka eh. And that might lead to embarrassment or brokenness na alam mo yon, baka mabetray sila. So they try to at least parang medyo one step backward yung sa relationship. So they're the most socially connected when it comes to social media. But alam natin yung in-depth relationship, hindi sila ganun kalalim. And so I think yung sinabi mo rin kanina, Miss Joyce, I think pagdating sa faith, sa spirituality, they're very tolerant. Many according to studies, maraming mga Gen Zs ngayon, they actually say that they're atheist. But when you ask them, they're not really atheists, they're agnostics. They just don't care about God, about faith, about these things because they don't see these things relevant. And so, especially pag tayo, we want to be friends with them. Some of them would say, oh, I don't want that kasi very exclusive kayo. Very
So does
exclusive
that
yung
make it
Bible."
easier or harder to share the gospel? If you don't mind me asking from your own experience. Kasi
It's-
di ba parang
yeah.
minsan complicated yun
Yes,
eh.
yes, it's very challenging actually. You really have to spend time with them and be intentional with them and just befriend them so that you will be able to earn their trust. Kasi important sa kanila yung trust because they value safety. They also will test you if safe ba tong taong to, mapagkakatiwalaan ba tong taong to.
JC, from your experience.
Definitely. I think the pandemic made it even worse. They were already digital natives. They were already hard to be connect socially. Then the pandemic happened, making them even more isolated. So having a good 3 years of their lives totally on their own, not allowed to go out, not allowed to build relationships. I can imagine it even worse for Gen Alpha, having kids that doesn't been exposed to your titas or other friends, right? So here, building that kind of relationship, I have a really good quote that says, we need to build relationships face to face, not thumb to thumb. Because for many of them, really, their relationships are thumb to thumb. So they can always post a different version of themselves when it's not face to face. Unlike building relationships that are connections, sharing a meal together, going out and doing activities together, you see vulnerability there. But because their friendships are built on messaging apps and other forms of connections, then it's really very difficult to build that strong physical face-to-face relationships.
One thing also I would like to add, this generation is looking for a community, a better community, but they don't know how to cultivate that. That's the thing. The fact that they're posting on social media and they're looking for likes or hearts, it's a cry for like me, value me, want me, and you can get that from relationships, from deep, meaningful relationships. And so I think yun yung kailangan i-bridge natin, yung turuan sila paano mag-cultivate ng ganong klaseng relationship.
I wanted to share from this book that I'm reading right now. No, the author he contrasts yung childhood daw natin before, it's play-based, and now for this generation, it's phone-based. And he was trying to make the explanation that during the growth period of the brain, yung play-based is so important kasi that's how you learn how to negotiate. O sino ba magsisiso now? That's how you learn how to take rejection. O ayaw ipahiram sa akin yung toy, ganyan. So a lot of us, by nature, we need that kind of face-to-face interaction, playing together, jumping off of chairs and things like that, and playing with other kids, because that's the foundational skill development that we use to eventually build relationships in the real world. Now, the reason why this particular generation struggles with, relationship building is because hindi nila nagawa yung play-based childhood na yun. Phone-based yung childhood nila. So as you mentioned, it's hard for them to really connect with others because nung mga times na dapat naglalaro sila, ang ginagawa nila, nagte-text or naglalaro ng video games, and it's really hard, no? You have to have compassion for our youth today because we see them with a lot of intellect, with a passion for doing the right things, but they don't know how to direct it, diba? And I think one of the ways that we can really serve the Lord in this particular field is building intentional relationships with the youth of today, whether that's through ministry or even through our families or family friends na talagang nakaka-interact natin. That's it for this episode of Adulting with Joyce Pring. If you liked this podcast, please don't forget to use the hashtag Adulting with Joyce Pring, and also check out www.joycepring.com for the show notes, and tag me on social media with at Joyce Pring. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Paalam!